Hello, welcome to lesson 5. I'm going to briefly talk a little bit about my own experiences with anxiety, um, why I ended up choosing anxiety as a way to support women. And, I've been working as a psychologist and coach for 30 years and always working on my own process and growth as a way to continue to grow and be the best I can be so that I can support others on their journey. I think I picked anxiety at this time because in this last year, with the way things are on the planet, I believe anxiety is a very big issue for many people, mostly women on the planet right now. I was born in the 60s, and things have continued to get better and better for women, and at the same time there's sort of been this backlash, and it's gotten kind of a larger backlash clearly in the last year, with different changes in the political environment, the economical environment, and just the status of the world at large with all the changes going on. So I feel compelled to really help women be able to find a way to manage their anxiety and become their best selves so that we can be of support not only to those we love, but to our communities, our schools, our churches, our environments, but the greater world at large, and support each other, because I believe that's a big part of what's going to help make a difference for us as a whole, as a race of humanity on the planet, is that we really need to heal our feminine aspects, and we need to grow as women to reclaim our sovereignty and power so that we can really help balance and heal things that are greatly needed. So I'm focusing on anxiety because that really speaks to me. And then my own experience personally has been recognizing, especially with writing this book, how anxiety has been a constant companion for me, and why I speak to it now as an opportunity to take advantage of anxiety as a way of helping me become stronger and become my best, fearless self, is because I believe that it helps us in certain ways that we don't recognize. And that's part of the program that we will be working with, is understanding how anxiety is actually helping us see what's needing attention, what part of us can we start showing up for better, so that we can be who we really are, so we can find our voice, so we can find our power. And I see that as the path, right, of healing and empowerment. So my anxiety story, as I speak to in the book, started very, very young. I came in as a very kind of a more aware kind of being that felt a little astonished at the lack of consciousness in the world when I was very young, and my parents feeling like they didn't know what they were doing and feeling a bit like, you're in charge. And it was a little nerve-wracking. And my mom had health issues when I was very young, and she thought she was going to die most through my life. And so I was always prepared for continuing to step into that next level of, how do I, even though this is scary, show up and cope? And of course, many coping strategies were not very healthy for me. And certain other ones were, and really helped me get through and grow a lot. So anxiety has been there at kind of every stage for me, as a young girl and in school, small school age. I remember, just feeling nervous about figuring out and negotiating the whole thing, and my mom just sort of dropping me off, and everything just felt a little larger than life. And it always kept inviting me to step up and figure out how to take care of myself. The harder things to do were to ask for help, and maybe it wasn't there. So anxiety, I think, is a teacher for all of us in many ways. For me, it was helping to find my voice when scary things happened and I needed to speak up. In relationships, I needed to find my voice and stop being a people pleaser and be able to say, no, I don't like that. That's not okay, whatever it was. In school, it was about stop trying to be the perfect student and just try and get what you came to learn. And again, stop trying to please people. And things got really harder at different times in my life. One of those was when I got married and had children, and that was in my 30s. And I think all the anxiety I had been coping with and the stressors in my life were already creating a biological strain for me. So by the time I was pregnant, I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression. And when the babies were born, I had really bad, what people term postpartum, but now it's called perinatal mood and anxiety disorder. I had just like this total fear of not being able to cope, which was feeling true. Like I wasn't coping in the way that I used to be able to. And I felt like I didn't have support, which felt very true, that I didn't have a lot of support. And so I was anxious and overwhelmed all the time. And that played out in lots of different ways for me. And I had to be willing to do whatever it took to get help. And part of that was learning to take care of myself and really learn to take care of myself, which I'd not ever really learned. And so that kind of upped that idea of having to put myself first. Like the idea of, on a plane, mothers put the oxygen mask on you first and then on your child. It was that kind of thing. I had to learn how to put me first, not let me take care of everybody else, and then we'll see what's left. Because I wasn't going to get better. And so it was very stressful. I had very stressful divorce at that point because it was really not a healthy situation. Then I had years and years of court and custody safety issue hearings for years. And I was a single parent of 2 children that were 13 months apart. And it was crazy. And it was the life I'd created. So I was like, I got to figure it out, So my anxiety was a constant companion, you could say. And I learned, and I continue to learn a lot. And then anxiety came again in different levels of going through all the parenting issues, the co-parenting stressors, and the concerns for my children. And then I ended up getting cancer a few years ago, and that was a whole nother level of it. And it was ovarian cancer, and which is very scary. But I was very, very fortunate to be able to go through it, catching it at an early stage, and had lots of anxiety at different levels, and worked a lot on how to take care of myself and get through that in a way that would continue to help me keep growing and not go into that contracted fear of life or death. And so it really grew me a lot. And I still had 2 kids at home I was still trying to be there for. So I've had a lot of experiences that have helped me understand the challenges of anxiety and the gifts of anxiety. And so I'm just here to share and be of service and help you benefit the best from this program. Thank you.